We've been living through the death of the American male. They have literally killed masculinity in our homes and our communities. For one reason.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Let's get into this right now. I want to talk about actor Anthony Mackie, who's currently playing Captain America right now. And he was on a podcast not that long ago with Ryan Clark, who used to play in the NFL. You can see him on ESPN. And they were talking about masculinity. They were talking about a variety of different things. One, the idea of masculinity, whether masculinity is dying in America, whether masculinity in America is something different. Are men unmasculine today? Is it looked at as a negative thing? He also talked about how he goes about raising his sons when it comes to this issue of masculinity. He also talks about the idea that maybe we're lying to our kids when we tell them, hey, all you got to do is go to school, right? Get good grades and you'll get a good job and you'll be a success. Well, he's saying that, is success something that we create on our own, or is it someone that helps us along the way to get to where we are? This is a very good question, because I can remember growing up myself where, yes, I got into college, I made something of myself, but there were people along the way in my community who weren't college educated, but they nourished me, they nurtured me, my family nurtured me to get to where I am today, right? And even when you go to college, right, it doesn't mean necessarily that it translates to you're going to be a big success in life. There's plenty of people who have gone to college, for example, that are not even working in the jobs that they went to college for. So Anthony Mackie goes into that issue around whether we're lying to our kids or whether success is something that's given to you versus something that you create on your own. So let's explore these issues and see what it's all about, everybody. Let me know if you disagree or agree with what he is saying here, because I tend to think, especially in this first clip, about how we need to be raising our young men, our young boys. I don't have a problem with that. Raising your young boys to be men, make them men of the home when you're not there, raising them to be respectful of women, their mother, and to carry themselves with a certain level of dignity and masculinity. I don't see anything wrong with that. But let's see what Anthony Mackie was saying here in this particular area. Here we go.
I keep my boys humble. Like, my boys have never had a pair of Jordans. You know, my boys don't do all that internet fly shit. I'm like, your kids. And no, I don't give a, I could be the biggest star in the world. Do not let me catch you being stupid. Do not. And my old.
Now, the reason why I like what he's saying here, how many times do we see kids of celebrities who are acting a plumb damn fool out here, and their father or mother is a well-known actor? Because I'm going to say it like this. A lot of people have a problem with masculinity until they need masculinity. What do I mean by that, everybody? When kids are out here causing problems in the street, particularly boys in particular, or girls, what's the first thing that everybody says in society? Where's the father? You don't hear them say often, where's the mother? They'll say, where's the father? Where's the parent? In this particular case, where's the father to keep this kid in line, right? Masculinity is being defined as something toxic in our society, but yet when boys or kids do something bad, everybody says, now where's the father to keep the kid in line? It doesn't mean that mothers can't discipline their kids and haven't disciplined their kids, but a lot of times people always say, where's the father, when these kids are out here wilding out and crashing out, okay?
Just gets it. My 15-year-old, he tells the other ones, he's like, yo, don't make dad mad. Because once you get one that's right, he gonna straighten the other ones out. So it's just that thing of, in the past 20 years, we've been living through the death of the American male.
Do you believe that what Anthony Mackie is saying right there is true? That we're living through the era of the death of the male, of the American male, that masculinity is at an all-time low in terms of it being respected and cultivated? What do you think? I want you to give honest opinions on this video in the comments section. I tend to believe that there's some truth to what Anthony Mackie is saying right here about the death of the American male as it relates to masculinity. Let's hear this again.
So it's just that thing of, in the past 20 years, we've been living through the death of the American male. They have literally killed masculinity in our homes and our communities.
Ooh, do you
for one
believe it to
reason
be
or
true?
another. But I raised my boys to be young men. And however you feel about that, you feel about that.
Mm-hmm.
But my boys will always be respectful. They will always say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. No, sir, no, ma'am. They will always say thank you. They will always open a door for a lady. They will always make sure that their mother is taken care and provided for. They will always be men.
Now, what is wrong with that philosophy? Anthony Mackie, if I'm not mistaken, he took some criticism for speaking in this way as it relates to masculinity and how he raises his sons. What did he say? I'm going to always teach my boys to be respectful to women. What's wrong with that? To be respectful to their mother. That should be expected. To carry themselves with dignity, but to also be men, to also be protectors in the household when I'm not there. Because you're going to hear Anthony Mackie say that it doesn't matter if I'm an actor, if I have money, because if a person wants to break into your house and do harm to your family, they don't care who you are. So I don't understand why Anthony Mackie would get any criticism for what he is saying in this podcast. Now, I think it has a lot to do with the fact that we live in American society today where people would rather be lied to than told the truth. People love being lied to and told fairy tales, but when you give them the raw, uncut truth, people, they can't handle the truth and they become ignored. They become irritated by the truth, and therefore what Anthony Mackie says could be seen as, in the world that we live in America, it can be seen as toxic masculinity, when in fact he's talking about the survival of his family, and his boys are his legacy. Let's continue with what he's saying here.
And that's always since they were 2 years old. Every time I left for a job, I tell my 15-year-old, you're the man of the house.
Mm-hmm.
You make sure these doors are locked every night. This alarm is on. You text me or you call me every night before you go to bed and
That's
you wake
right.
up.
I love that.
Because we're men. If I'm not there to protect, he got to be there to protect. Because you can have all the money in the world, climb through the window. That money means nothing.
Did you hear what he just said there? Anthony Mackie's talking gems right now. He's been dropping gems on podcasts lately, speaking his mind lately, and I like it. The money don't mean nothing, and your status in life don't mean nothing when someone crawls through the door or through the windows or breaks into your home to do you harm. You have to have your young men prepared for these realities, because these are the realities in life that they must be prepared for when they go out into the world. And I'm going to say it again. It seems like the only time people are concerned about how masculine a man is nowadays is when you have kids and your kids get out there into the world and they start cutting up and crashing out and getting on drugs and getting in trouble. Then all of a sudden, everybody wants to say, where's the father? Where are the fathers at? This is why the kids are out of control, because the father's not in the household. A father, folks, we can't have it two ways. You either want to value the importance of masculinity, and by valuing the importance of masculinity is not to devalue femininity either. But children, particularly boys, they need balance. The most important balance that they need is they need fathers in their life, like Anthony Mackie is doing with his kids. Let's continue here. This is very interesting.
Right. You can have all the celebrity in the world. You jump through the door, that celebrity means nothing. Yeah. So you got to have a little guard in there, you know? And so for me, it's always that idea of American masculinity is very different.
Tell the truth.
I tend to agree with that. And I think that might have been the line that Anthony Mackie said that people didn't like, because he questioned whether America as a culture today really values masculinity, but he sees it as it's something different. Why is it seen as something different? Because in our world today, we have alternative lifestyles. We have people that will call themselves non-binary, people who live alternative lifestyles and what have you. And while those lifestyles are being propped up in our society, traditional masculinity is being seen as something passe or something that's negative. this is where we are. Now, let's get into this actual clip right here by Anthony Mackie, who makes another good point. This is where he's talking about, and maybe people are not happy about, once again, him speaking these truths and these pebbles of truth. Anthony Mackie's talking about, is success earned or is it given based on where you are in life?
Tell the truth.
Well, let's hear what he has to say about this, everybody.
I've been in the business 24 years, right? And I've seen people go from nothing to the biggest stars in the world.
Oh, woo.
I've seen people go from one role to winning Academy Awards and doing all this shit. And what I realized yesterday thinking about it, we're lying to our kids, dog. And I think that's a big problem in our community. We tell our kids that they can, and this is fresh on my heart. Like I literally just came to this conclusion.
This is where people are going to get a little disagreement with him. But I tend to believe what he's saying here.
Conclusion last night. We tell our kids if they do right and they make the good grades and they go to the programs and they will become successful. If you work hard enough, your work will be paid off. And that's not true.
Now, let me stop it right there. He says it's not true. Now, how many of you disagree with Anthony Mackie on this point, or you agree with him? I got to be honest. Let me break it down like this, because this is why he gave the examples of actors. Think about how many people that you see, actors in Hollywood, that are having great success in acting. They've been in great movies. They've had great roles, and they don't seem to get an Oscar. They don't seem to get better opportunities in the movies, right? Such as, let me see, Bassett, okay? Angela Bassett has been in some great movies, but she still hasn't gotten the number of Oscars that she should have gotten. And don't tell me that she's not working hard. Let's look at Denzel Washington. Don't tell me that he's not working hard. Denzel is one of the greatest actors that we've ever seen in our lifetime and beyond, right? He's been in a lot of good movies, but isn't it interesting that Denzel didn't win an Oscar, not for Malcolm X or any of the other movies that he did that were more positive. He wins an Oscar when he finally wins an Oscar for playing a corrupt police officer in Training Day. Okay, when you look at the Oscars that Denzel has won, it's for movies where he's playing a degenerate character, right? Or someone like Angela Bassett, who has been in the game for a long time, has definitely shown her worth, but she's not getting always the best roles or opportunities. And when she does a great job, she's not getting the awards that come along with it, maybe not even the same amount of pay as her white counterparts. So that's an example from a Hollywood point of view, which I think Anthony Mackie was saying when he made the examples about the different actors that he has seen come along. Now, when it comes to education, it's already been proven fact that if you get into an Ivy League school, you get into the top tier colleges, you might have a better chance of really getting opportunities because you're going to school with people who have fathers and mothers who are captains of industry, who own corporations, who are movers and shakers in the world. So you go to school with them, you're rubbing shoulders with them in classrooms, you're getting to know them. It might open up the door for you to get a job opportunity. Right? So a lot of times, yes, working hard is important, but sometimes it could be who you know just as much as it is what you know. And in some cases, it's more about who you know and not necessarily what you know. And the question is, are we lying to our kids, or should we just tell them the truth and say, look, work hard, but there's also a chance that these things could happen. These could be these obstacles in your life. Let's get back to this. This is very interesting stuff here.
Success is given. It's not earned. Because you can be the most brilliant. If one person don't tap you, each one of y'all, there were people who could hit harder, who could catch better, who could run faster, but somebody said, you're the one. And the other 50 behind you fell off.
He's absolutely right. When it comes to sports, I can tell you right now, just growing up myself, I know that there were guys that I grew up with because I used to love playing basketball. There were guys in my neighborhood that I grew up with that were better than some of the guys in the NBA. There were guys that I knew that, damn, if they could get to the NBA, they're much better than that guy, right? We often talk about Michael Jordan, but guess what? Nobody talks about how many Michael Jordans that never made it to the NBA because either they got on drugs, something happened in their life, maybe they weren't good with their school books. there were probably guys out there that could do the same things that Michael Jordan could do, but Michael Jordan had opportunity. There's a lot of guys that could have, should have, could have been great athletes in football and basketball, but they fell off for a variety of different reasons. So very good point by Anthony Mackie right here. I tend to agree with what he's saying.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And because of that, I don't know what that emotion or that feeling is.
Tell the truth.
Is the scary thing. Because I went to all the programs. I've done Broadway. I've done off-Broadway. I've been in the business 24 years. I've been in 2 Academy Award films. I've done independent films. I've done major motion pictures. Now I'm Captain America. So now what?
Woo! Now what? Now, I like the way he left that statement. You know why he left that statement? Because he's basically saying, I've played all these different roles. Right? Let's go over his career. Anthony Mackie was in 8 Mile. He was also in $1 Million Baby, right? He was also in Hurt Locker, which is a movie that was a breakout movie for him. Military movie. He was in Eagle Eyes. He was in Notorious, about the story of Notorious Big, the rapper, right? He was in the Adjustment Bureau in 2011. He was in Real Steel in 2012. And he was in Man on Edge in 2000, I believe, 12 as well. And now currently he's in his biggest production, which was the Captain America. He's part of the MCU Marvel Universe.
Tell the truth.
And why he says right there, I'm doing Captain America. Now what? He knows that there's a chance that he may not blow up like you would think he would, especially like his white counterparts.
Tell the truth.
So he's basically telling you, hey, I can have this resume, I can be in all these good movies, but it doesn't guarantee that I'm going to keep elevating even though I'm working hard. Because he has told you, and I played the clips, that he's been in the business for a long time and he has seen many people fall off, or people that were in all these different roles, right? Let's hear it again.
I've been in the business 24 years, right? And I've seen people go from nothing to the biggest stars in the world.
See?
I've seen people go from one role to winning Academy Awards and doing all this shit. And what I realized yesterday thinking about it, we're lying to our kids, dog. And I think that's a big problem in our community.
Now, why do you think he's saying that? He's basically saying that he has watched people blow up in Hollywood right before his eyes, going from one road to another, who necessarily weren't the best actor, the best at their profession, or even the best hard worker, while other people he probably witnessed who were harder workers, probably had more talent, didn't get chosen because they didn't get picked. Keep this in mind. When you look at this, he's in Hollywood. So that means sometimes people get an opportunity because they're chosen by what? A director that likes them, a producer that likes them. Maybe there's something going on like the casting couch. The casting couch was something back in the day where people would have to do what? We heard of the Weinstein situation where they're having sexual relations with the person that's running the production company, the producer, so they can move up in the field. So I'm saying there's a lot of reasons why some people become successful and they're not even working as hard as a person that is working hard and has fallen short in some way, obstacles in their way. So I think Anthony Mack is making some interesting points here. You let me know in the comment section of this video if you think that Anthony Mackie is making great points, that he's making great sense. If you agree or disagree, no problem here. Leave those comments on this channel. I think personally that he's making some pretty damn good points that I tend to agree with some of what he's saying. But he is taking some criticism, particularly on the social media streets, by people who disagree. And the question before I leave is masculinity at an all-time low in American society? Is it becoming, are men dying and losing that masculinity as we live in this world of alternative lifestyles? With that said, everybody, this is the Information Man. You know what it is. Hit the bell notification, subscribe to the channel, tell people about the channel, share this video on all your social media. Y'all take care. Peace.
I keep my boys humble. Like, my boys have never had a pair of Jordans. You know, my boys don't do all that internet fly shit, I'm like, you're kids. And no, I don't give a, I could be the biggest star in the world. Do not let me catch you being stupid. Do not. And my oldest gets it. My 15-year-old, he tells the other ones, he's like, yo, don't make dad mad. Because once you get one that's right, he gonna straighten the other ones out. So it's just that thing of, in the past 20 years, we've been living through the death of the American male. They have literally killed masculinity in our homes and our communities, for one reason or another.